What's up, space pirates? This is your Admiral, the Dread Pirate Dr. Disaster. And before we dig into the sum and substance of the topic of this video, some important context is needed. A few months back, Nintendo released the demographic information of the users of their Switch, and unsurprisingly, the vast majority, in fact 86%, were male.
It's a man's world.
The only thing surprising about these numbers here is that the 86% is higher than I would have guessed for the Nintendo platform. Of all the consoles out there for gamers to use, the Nintendo seemed the most likely to have a higher percentage of female gamers, what with the games like Animal Crossing that typically see female users playing it. But males still make up 86% of the total Nintendo users. So, with all of that context in mind, let's talk about Asmongold and what he said about the new Bungie game Marathon, because it is making a lot of people really pissed off.
Everyone loses their minds.
Asmongold is a mad lad. He just came right out and said it, that female characters in games like Marathon need to look attractive because the majority of gamers are dudes, and especially in a shooter like Marathon, this is important because shooters will attract a majority male audience in a big way. Of course, he used much more colorful language than I did, which I will play for you in a minute here, but the usual suspects are getting really PO'd. They are hearing what Asmongold had to say, and then they're going, but the thing is, Asmongold is correct, and it is a point that I make on this channel fairly regularly. Gamers are mostly male, and in fact, mostly straight males. So, the characters in games should be either heroic and masculine-looking men, or, if you include females, then they should be conventionally attractive. Hell, even the girls who play these sorts of games would agree. Characters like this here, like what we see in Marathon, they don't sell. People don't want the shit. Even the girls don't want to look at characters that are fugly. They don't want to cosplay as characters like this. There is only a very specific sort of person that defends this sort of thing.
That's just something ugly people say.
Alright me hearties, make sure you hit the like button on this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and also, please consider supporting the channel by becoming a member. I've written a dark fantasy novel that will be available to purchase soon on Amazon, and audiobook of the beginning of this novel will be available to channel members first. I'm just ironing out the last few kinks in the novel, and then it'll be ready to rock. But if you want to support alternatives to mainstream culture, consider becoming a channel member for as little as $5 a month. Anyways, let's take a look at Marathon, which is one of the uglier looking releases that is planned for this year so far. Specifically, it's time to hear from Asmongold himself. Here is the clip that has pissed off a certain section of the gaming crowd.
I think that pretty much every single circumstance, it's always a bad idea to make characters that are not conventionally attractive. Because this is, again, this is a shooter game. And shooter games are going to be primarily played by men. So if you're making a shooter game that's primarily made for men, then you should make sure that all of the female characters in the game are fuckable. And I know this might sound crazy to say, but I'm just going to say it. That's what you should do. That's what you should do. Because that's what people want to do. That's what girls will cosplay. Girls don't want to cosplay ugly, weird-looking, androgynous, creepy characters. And all of that, like, think about how much advertising Marvel Rivals gets because of how many girls try to cosplay the characters.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Asmongold just came right out and said it, and he's not wrong at all. Marvel Rivals is a successful game for a reason. The First Descendant is less successful, but still, it has seen some success, and it is for a reason. Some people out there may not like this fact, that gamers are mostly men, and they are mostly straight for that matter. The gay population is minuscule compared to the straight population, so you don't have to like this fact. You don't have to acknowledge it, you don't have to believe that it always has to be this way, and you're welcome to screech, howl, and scream about it as much as you want, because I could always use a good laugh, but the fact is that the demographics of gamers suggest that Marathon's character designs, at best, represent a suboptimal marketing strategy. At worst, they have alienated the vast majority of gamers, and they are on pace to go full Concord with their release in September. But let's look at what some of these usual suspects are saying on X. This account here, Marathon Intel. I don't think this is the official Marathon account on X, but they do have the gold checkmark, which suggests that they're a business of some variety. Those usually cost a pretty penny to get, those gold checkmarks. So it's definitely an account which means business. Anyhow, they got damn near 2 million views on this post so far. They wrote, Asmongold thinks Marathon needs to make sure that all of the female characters in the game are effable because it's a shooter game primarily made for men. And the responses to this have been hilarious. This account responded by saying Asmongold thinks in quotes, and then no, normal people think that this is unsustainable. And then he posted an image of a bunch of games from the past year featuring homely characters that failed miserably, and then this fellow wrote, this was common knowledge up until the year 2010. What happened? And we all know that these screeching harpies are what happened. They tried to get their hooks into gaming because they don't like the idea that men can have a hobby that doesn't include them. And then I really liked this response. Have you considered that maybe Asmongold is just the prominent and very famously loud tip of the iceberg of a lot of people who think this very same way, and that we are not going to buy this game just as we didn't buy Concord or Suicide Squad or the many flops spat out by the video game industry these past months? Until devs stop with this ostrich mentality of burying their head in the sand and refuse to acknowledge the fact that gaming doesn't have a modern audience, just a very tired audience of gamers sick of being ignored, slandered, and milked for our effing money, the industry isn't going to be fun and great again. Until then, happy flops and layoffs. Anyhow, the thing is, there have been a lot of jackasses like this here who want to try to tone police Asmongold, and I just don't see that working out for them. He is not going to let you police his tone. It's not going to happen. Besides, people like this have completely misunderstood the damn point of what was being said here, saying if you can't play a game without wanting to beat it to the characters, you shouldn't be playing. My guys, Asmongold simply said that if you want a game to be successful, if you want characters to be popular, this is what you should do. Make male characters look heroic and masculine, and make female characters attractive. And chances are, unless the gameplay in Marathon is phenomenal, then they are going to struggle because they didn't follow this very basic marketing rule. Nobody is saying that a game must be attractive to males, but it should if they want to succeed. There are exceptions, but usually it's because the gameplay was amazing. As I said before, you don't have to like the demographic truths in gaming, but reality does not conform to what you do or do not like. Anyhow, I'm gonna leave it there. What do you think about what Asmongold said? Drop your thoughts on it into the comment section below, and we will talk there. Thanks for watching, me hearties. If you haven't already, your Admiral is inviting you to subscribe to the channel and become a part of the crew. Life as a space pirate may not be glamorous, but there's always plenty of booty.